On today's video, do not make this mistake with your crossbow. Hey there, outdoor YouTubers. It's Dave Knetter from Knetter's Practical Outdoors. And you know, I know a lot of you guys out there have been archery hunting for a long time, okay? But there may be some of you guys out there that are a little bit new to hunting with a crossbow, all right? Crossbows have become legal for deer hunting in a lot more areas lately. I know in my home state of Michigan, deer hunting with a crossbow has been legal for everybody for about 10 years now. But the biggest mistake that I'm seeing and hearing, at least from a safety standpoint with crossbows, is people getting their fingers hit by the string when the crossbow fires. Okay? I have a friend of mine, this happened to them when they were loading their crossbow. I know another person that works in like sporting goods sales, and they said an older gentleman came into their store, bought a crossbow. A week later he was back to return it, and he had a big bandage on his hand. So kind of the same thing happened to him. He got his fingers clipped by the string. So this is happening when people are loading their crossbow and when they're firing their crossbow. Alright? And there's just a few simple precautions we can take to make sure it doesn't happen. Alright? Okay, first scenario is guys are getting their fingers hit when they're firing the crossbow. Okay. Now, this crossbow is not cocked. Alright, because I want to be able to stick my fingers in and around kind of the danger areas without actually putting my fingers in harm's way. But if you can imagine, and I will cock it here in a minute, but for now, if you can imagine, this string will be pulled back into this trigger mechanism, okay? So this string will be coming back this way, and it kind of forms this triangle of an area that you do not want to get your fingers in, alright? So what's happening, right? We've got this handle down here on this particular model of crossbow, okay? I always put my hand right there on this handle, and then I'm fairly safe. I cannot get my fingers up into harm's way of that string, right? That string comes shooting forward along the top of this rail, okay? But if I were to hold the crossbow like this, now my thumb is easily in the way, okay? And that's kind of what's happening, okay? A guy might hold it like this. Now your fingers are up in harm's way again. Okay, even back further, you might have your thumb up in the way. So what you want to do with the particular crossbow that you have is find a good safe place, a good safe method of holding the crossbow when you shoot it where your fingers are not up in the way, where they can't get up in the way, alright? Some crossbows have a real exaggerated lip that comes out underneath the rail so your fingers can't get up any higher, or they have an exaggerated forearm that comes down, so there's just no way you can reach it. But a lot of crossbows, like I say, if I hold this one like this, easily my thumb is up in here. If I hold it right here, easily my fingers are in the way. If you hold it back here, easily your fingers are in the way back there. So just find that good safe spot and hold your crossbow like that every time you shoot it. Now, I've heard a few instances of guys that did have a good safe spot. You know, they always were shooting their crossbow, holding it in a good safe spot, and it never gave them any issues. But then something kind of changes. They're out in the blind, or maybe they're target practicing and maybe they're using a rest, or they have a rest in their blind, okay? So now all of a sudden, if you're shooting with a rest, you've got this crossbow and you're looking to shoot it, and now maybe this hand doesn't naturally go here, okay? Because it doesn't have to be here to hold the crossbow up if you're shooting off of a rest. So I've heard of scenarios where guys, all of a sudden they have this free hand and now it starts to wander and they're putting it in the wrong place and they fire the crossbow and they're getting their fingers clipped. So keep that in mind. if you change something up and now all of a sudden you're shooting off of a rest, you might inadvertently be like, oh yeah, this hand doesn't have to be here anymore. I'm shooting off of a rest. I don't need that there to hold up the weight of the crossbow, and now this hand is going into a different spot and getting you into trouble. Okay guys, now this crossbow is cocked, alright, and you can kind of see that triangle a little better that I was talking about, alright. Now remember, this string is just going to come flying forward when you shoot it, okay. So remember what I talked about, getting your fingers up and past the top of this rail anywhere within this triangle is going to be a problem. Now the other scenario where guys are getting their fingers clipped is when they're loading the crossbow. Okay, always make sure your crossbow is on safety when you're loading it, alright? But what I see a lot of guys doing, I see it on videos and I've seen some of the people I know doing this, is they're grabbing the bolt like this and they're sliding it back in, getting it loaded into that trigger mechanism, okay? But if you're holding that bolt like right here, you are putting your fingers in harm's way if this crossbow were to accidentally fire. What you really want to do is hold it at the end, not over the end, okay? But hold the bolt near the end, and you guys know, right? The off-colored fletching, we got 2 greens and a white, so the white is the off-colored. That off-colored goes down into that groove in the shooting rail, okay, and you slide it in like this. Now at any point, if this crossbow were to accidentally fire, all it would do is shoot that bolt out of my hand, okay? Alright, I'm sliding it back in until the nock engages with the string. So at any time when I was doing this, if it were to accidentally fire, like I say, it would just shoot that bolt out of my hand. I'm not putting my hand in front of the bolt. I'm not holding it back here where the string could hit it if it were to accidentally fire. Okay? Again, you want to just kind of hold it up near the tip, not back here. Like I say, I see a lot of guys doing that. They're holding it back here. It's just not a good idea. Hold it near the end, okay? And gently slide it back into the trigger mechanism. If this crossbow were to fire as I was doing that, it's going to shoot the bolt out of my hand, but that string is not going to clip my fingers, and I'm not holding my hand in front of the bolt is not going to shoot through my hand either. So that really is the safest way to load up a crossbow. Now guys, if you're at all interested in how I cock this crossbow, I use a cocking rope. I did another video on safely cocking and loading your crossbow. I have a link below in the description if you want to check out that video. But for this video, I just wanted to focus on saving the fingers, okay? Don't let those fingers get anywhere in this triangle area when you're shooting it, for sure, and even when you're loading it. Don't let your fingers get into this triangle area, okay? It's just the safe way to go. It's just it could really save you some big headaches down the road. Alright guys, hey, remember to hunt, fish, laugh, repeat. It's Dave Knetter from Knetter's Practical Outdoors. Hey, thanks for watching and God bless.